Now, we've been called the fatherless generation, and this has been true for Andy himself. But it was some godly fathers that came into the picture that shaped his life.
He graciously sat down with us, pulled away from the tour of his brand new Neverland album, and he talked about moving into the mainstream, the religious skeptics, and how Jesus might handle the music industry.
I had an incredible mom who, she was amazing. She taught me so much, and she tried to steer me in the things of God. But not having any of those male figures and mentors was difficult. But as life continued, God was so gracious to bring lots of men in my life to be, dads, to be spiritual fathers for me, and to mentor me and love me and disciple me. Discipleship for me, what that means is pretty much walking with somebody, doing life with somebody, and letting them teach you not what they learned, but what they know. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a big difference there. And so for me, I made people my mentors. I didn't have many people. I don't know if I had anybody that was like, will you let me mentor you? I'm gonna come after you. But what I did have was men that I saw, and I said, I need to learn from you. And then I bothered them until they gave me what I wanted.
Oh, man.
So it was like, Dave Ham, one of my greatest mentors and friends and father figures. Like, I saw him when I was in Truce, which was this ministry I was a part of my freshman year in college. Man of God, loves the Lord, had a family, kids, had loaded with wisdom, and I just saw him and I gravitated to him. Anywhere he's going, where are you going? The grocery store. I'm going with you. Walking, getting stuff. So what do you think about predestination? What do you think about? And I'm just like, whoever I could find, I was gravitating towards and pulling stuff out of them. But now, I've had to grow and learn and try to become the best man that I can be, the best leader I can be, the best influencer I can be, to be the role model that I didn't have. You know what I'm saying? And it's difficult, but I think God's given us the grace to do that. All the guys at Reach Records and worldwide who are, changing culture, changing the world. I met Lecrae. He found one of my YouTube videos. He found In My City, a music video I did. And then my buddy Alex Medina was working with him at the time, producing and doing stuff. And so he introduced us, and we worked on the song Background together. And from there, we just realized we had a similar DNA, vision in music. And he offered to sign me to his label, to Reach Records, the year that I graduated college. So right when I graduated, I signed with him, and we've been rocking ever since, and that was in 2011.
All right, guys, don't forget to check us out online, therevolutiontv.com. There you'll find full episodes, links to our Facebook, Twitter. Reach out to us. You're not alone. therevolutiontv.com.
We've been talking with Andy Mineo of Reach Records. He graciously pulled away from his Neverland tour. We had a really candid conversation. Greatly appreciate him going there with us because I had one question that was really burning on my mind. I had to ask him his perspective of the Grammy Awards performances this past year. There were blatant witchcraft symbolism interwoven in the choreography, numerous performances, very obvious. And the way that he responded was so classy and top-notch. He talks a lot about the grace word. Andy Mineo.
Everybody wants to be associated with greatness. Everybody wants to, rise to the top in a sense, and what higher throne than that of God's, right? And so, you hear songs that, are unashamedly, proclaiming, I'm equal with God, or, all kinds of stuff. So you hear these tones in the music, and I think that's innately what's in people, their aspiration for greatness, and they want, wanting to be the greatest of the great. And I think that it can be very, very tricky, because I don't think that my job in the music industry is to point fingers at anybody and bash them, but to be a light, to not say, what you're doing is wrong, but by living the way that I live and making the music that I make, just showing people what's right, and what I believe to be right. And I think that being in the industry, my other job is to reach and connect with these people and to graciously and lovingly call them to a different direction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not here to usher in a theocracy. I'm not here to usher in a hammer to beat people with, but I'm here to show them the same grace that I've received from a generous and loving God who has loved me in spite of my many mistakes and my many fist pumps at him, and say, man, I've received grace, I've found truth, I found love, I found hope. And I think that shining that light in music is going to be, refreshment for a very dark world, a very dark time. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that the church can get behind me in those things. And I think what happens is often the church sees an artist like me or Lecrae or somebody heading into the mainstream, and they think that they're going to lose us. They think that we're going to be overtaken or swallowed up by the allure of fame or success and things like that. And I understand their concern, but I want to assure them that, our goal in heading into that direction is to do what we feel God's called us to do, to reach people that they will never be able to reach. So instead of, I think, accusing us or pointing fingers at us or calling us part of the Illuminati or something, to pray for us and pray for wisdom when we get there. I mean, if our faith was about being safe and not taking risks, then we would do that. But our faith isn't calling us to do that. Our faith is calling us to be risky, calling us to go where the wild things are, calling us to go to the dark places, just like Jesus did. He left the comfort and the beauty of heaven to come to earth, to come after us and show us how much he loved us, and create an opportunity for us to have relationship restored with God. What? That's nuts. So we want to go and do the same thing, be lights and witnesses in these places and befriend people and love on them and show them that there's a different alternative.